Hey everyone, welcome back to Low Luxury, the channel where I show you what authentic luxury clothing and streetwear looks like. And today is one that I've been looking forward to for a really long time because we're going to be taking a look at a piece by the designer Stella McCartney. This really awesome pulled sweater. It's so cool, I will show you. But Stella McCartney is a designer who it would be really easy to write off actually, because she's the daughter of Paul McCartney. You know, you could talk about nepotism and how maybe she doesn't deserve what she's got, all that stuff. But here's the thing, she's a really great designer and she actually does things in a way that's way better than a lot of other brands and designers that are way more respected by many people, because she does things really sustainably. She really works to change things within the fashion industry. So I think it's important that we shine a light on her and appreciate her design. So let's get into it. But first, I've looked into it and a very small percentage of you are actually subscribed to the channel. It's completely free. Just press that button and you will not regret it. Thank you so much. Now, will you look at that? Now, it is so hard for me to describe to you what the feeling of this fabric is, but I will do my best. You know, that's what I'm here for. But before we do any of that, let's check out the retail tags that come with this piece. So the first thing we get here is a nice thick piece of cardboard. You can see that there. It's fairly hard to bend. It's not like cardstock or anything. And then just printed on there in these kind of dots, or actually, you know, is that debossed? Let me get a better look at this here. I believe it is debossed because you can see here there are all these little dots. Like, it's a really textured piece of cardboard here. And I think each of these dots might actually go in there. Anyway, they are black, so that's the Stella McCartney logo there. You can see the A is kind of cut off, things like that. I really like that logo. I think it's super cool. And that takes up almost all of the width of this tag here. And the back of that, surprise, surprise, is the same as the front. Then you get another much thinner just piece of cardstock here. One side of that is blank, and the other side it has a bit of texture, but more importantly, it has this sticker on here. And if this sticker looks familiar, well, it kind of should, because this looks just like stickers from Gucci and companies like that, because Stella McCartney is actually owned by the same parent company as Gucci, that being Kering. So all those stickers look very similar. So up here, we've got a bunch of important stuff like that. There is the season. You got a size over here. You get a model number there, of course, very important. Fabric number, color number, things like that. And you got a barcode down at the bottom left there. And these were all held together with this really thin white string here that goes up to this white light bulb shaped safety pin. And there was also one other tag that came with it, the same material as that last one, that thinner cardstock. One side also blank. And then the other has some actually really cool information about this fabric here. So you've got English, French, and, oh wait, did I mess it up, the order? English, Spanish, and French here. So it says the special bobbling / boiled effect of the yarn has to be considered as a peculiarity and not a defect. So again, pretty much like the same type of warning that all luxury stuff has, which is like, hey, if there's any weird distressing stuff like that, it's supposed to be that way. Don't come complaining to us. All right, now let's take a look at the brand tag at the back of the neck of this sweater. So this right here, it is I think that's an embroidered tag, and it's kind of a glossy white. It does have a bit of shine to it. And then in black there, it's that same dot pattern for the Stella McCartney logo, and it takes up pretty much the whole width of the tag. And this tag is very skinny, like not nearly as tall as most other brand tags. And if we turn that over, you can see it does have a bit of a black border and also a kind of like stringiness to it. And you can see it's kind of like a silver there. And that is stitched in with a single stitch on both the right and left sides. You can see it is kind of folded over there. And then coming out of that from the bottom, you've got this Made in Italy tag, and that's all in caps in black. And that's just a white tag folded over. You can see how it's just stitched in with a clean white stitch there. And on the back of that, you can see the back side of that stitch and a bit of space left over after the stitch. And now let's take a look at the care tags inside the sweater. So these would be on your left side if you were wearing the sweater, and these are going to look very similar once again to anybody who has had any Gucci pieces, because the tags are nearly identical.
So first you get this loop tag here with the embroidered size in there, M for medium. And then you get these long, very thin, glossy white plastic tags. And you get that Stella McCartney logo first up top there. Then where it was made in various languages, centered in a bolder font. And you get some symbols there. And interestingly, clevercare.info. I'll have to look that up and see what that is. And dun, 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 we're back, movie magic. I just looked that up, and it's actually really cool. Remember how we were saying how she's very concerned with sustainability, things like that? Well, that takes you to a site that tells you how to have less like climate impact when you're doing your washing. So that's really cool. I love that. You got a bit of blank space there. And the next tag has your fabrication. So this one is 86% wool and 14% polyamide. And you got a bunch of blank space there. Next up, once again, a ton of blank space until you get to the bottom, and then you've got that model number there. Very important to make sure that that matches with everywhere else you've seen it. And then you get into the care information. So it's all centered, and it starts off in Spanish, English, French? No, I messed that up again. Oof, man, I'm bad at this stuff. Anyway, lots of languages all centered, the Asian languages, and it ends with, I believe, Arabic there. And that is it. And these are all stitched in right into that side seam there. It's actually hard to see because of how thick this fabric is, but it is stitched in right into the seam. All right, now let's take a look at all the unique elements of this sweater. So we have to start off by talking about this fabric. And again, I told you, I don't really know how to describe it. So as we saw with the care tags, this is primarily wool, but it's not scratchy at all. Like, it doesn't feel like normal wool, I would say. And you can see all over it's got a different texture. I think on that retail tag they called it a bobbled/boiled effect, and I do sort of get that. But it's really cool and really comfortable. Like, I can't even describe it. So it does have, I'd say, a crew neckline, and it does have a kind of a different texture to the main thing. Like the boils are bigger in the main part, and then they get a bit thinner there at the neck. It's pretty interesting, actually. Both the cuffs and the hem are just left kind of raw, like it's all the same as the body, it just kind of ends. But down the sides, you actually get these inserts here. So this is the side of the shirt, so it's got this cutout, and you've got this kind of like ribbed almost insert that comes right down from the armpit. And I'm guessing that this rib material is the same thing that they used at the neck. And if we look to the back of the sweatshirt, you can see it is just kind of like a nice square cut, very much oversized, as we'll talk about. But I just think that's really cool. It's a really cool casual piece, but also really interesting and really kind of forward thinking in its fabrication and its cut. And now that we have checked all of that out, I think it's time to try this sweater on to see how it feels and see how it fits. So I am in love with the feel of this piece, like that bobbled, boiled effect, whatever we're calling it. It just feels so nice on your skin. Like, it feels like a nice blanket. And even though it is wool, it doesn't have an ounce of scratchiness to it. It is super soft. So congrats to Stella on figuring out how to make one of the most comfortable, softest wools I've ever felt. Now, maybe the more interesting thing to talk about here is the fit. And the fit is very considered. Like, there are a lot of interesting choices here, and it's hard to say where to start. But it is definitely oversized, so it's tagged a size medium, and it's very voluminous. Like, as far as the width of it, it fits maybe more like an extra large. But the length isn't as oversized. So the sleeves and the body, like how far the piece comes down, is maybe more like a large. So definitely oversized in both ways, but more oversized in one way than the other. But for a piece like this, it's supposed to be that way. Like, I would not size down. If you want a piece like this, you should get it oversized. Otherwise, I just don't think it will look right, actually. So I love the look of this piece. It's kind of simple, but also really fashionable. It's really crazy fabrication, but the style at the same time is kind of classic, so I am all about it.
So that is how you tell the difference between real and fake Stella McCartney clothing. Take a look at the other video on screen here, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I'll see you next time.